There are very few titles out there that are quite as revolutionary and engaging as the Bioshock series. From its story and well-programmed game mechanics to the combination of several genres of gaming that created this masterpiece, this series has been a personal favorite of mine since the release of Bioshock 1 in 2007. It gave us as players the opportunity to play the game differently, using the different powers introduced to us by Atlas. I made the choice to make this list a top 11 because you know what they say, a man chooses, a slave obeys. Let's get into it, shall we? Here are my personal favorite Plasmids and Vigors from the Bioshock series. Number 11. HYPNOTIZE Big Daddy. The iconic enemies of Rapture could never be the various splicers or turrets you're up against. Being on the front cover of both Bioshock and Bioshock 2, the Big Daddies are a force to be reckoned with. Bearing a drill arm, impeccable speed, and a resilience for most of the weapons in your arsenal, making an enemy of a Big Daddy could easily mean certain death, so it would be crazy not to include this Plasmid on the list. Not only does this Plasmid trick Mr. Bubbles into thinking that you're a little sister, making escape from an encounter very easy, but the Big Daddy will follow you and protect you from anything that can cause you harm. The only complaints about this Plasmid is its high EV usage and the fact that you cannot free the little sisters unless you kill these diving suit wearing badasses. One shot and your hypnosis is broken, and you'll be in for the fight of your life. Number 10. Insect Swarm. Insect Swarm is one of those game mechanics that provides more questions than answers. What happens to them when switching Plasmids? And how are Big Daddies affected by little tiny insects? This particular Plasmid can be used on multiple enemies at once and can provide a useful distraction to get away when you're low on health or even take care of splicers quickly. If you're looking to get easy headshots, save your ammo and use your wrench, or fill up your photo album of the beautiful world of Rapture, Insect Swarm will be your best friend. Number 9. Security Bullseye. Security Bullseye probably wasn't too useful for players who were good at hacking or players who didn't bother hacking at all, but it was a very good tool to deal with the more powerful Big Daddies called bouncers. You know, the ones with the giant drill that would pin you against the wall and rip a hole through your skull and kill you. Since they don't have any sort of long-range weapon like Rosie's, security bots have a great time dealing with bouncers as they struggle to land a hit on the helicopter hat-wearing death machines. If there aren't any security bots to take advantage of, you can always get more called in by failing to hack in those minigames with the fluids and the tubes and the oh my god, why is it so hard? I knew there was a reason why I never bothered with these things. Number 8. Electrobolt. The Electrobolt, while having different functions in Bioshock 1, 2, and having the title of Shock Jockey in Infinite, provides the protagonist with various ways to go around taking out splicers and Big Daddies, as well as copious amounts of enemies found in Infinite. As the first Plasmid introduced in the first 2 games, the visual effect as the screen blurs and you start blacking out really sets out the tone for the rest of the game. I'm sure any of us would have gone through the same thing if we were to just inject what is essentially a bottled up dose of Force Lightning. The 1-2 punch is a staple of the first game, and with enough investments into your wrench and upgrades to the Electrobolt, you could take out Big Daddies without getting hit once while conserving those precious electric bucks and piercing rounds. In 2, the emphasis on the Force Lightning intensifies as it no longer stuns enemies but instead provides a damage over time effect and can chain to other enemies to show a beautiful blue light show as you sit and watch the magic happen. Water only intensifies the effect, making this Plasmid that much more useful in Rapture. In Infinite, the Shock Jockey works nearly the exact same way, but could be paired up with other Vigors for a hell of a combo. Number 7. Incinerate. Many of the first Plasmids of Bioshock are used to get around Rapture as you get closer to Andrew Ryan. While Electrobolt was used to get through certain doors, the second Plasmid of Bioshock, Incinerate, is first used to get through the medical pavilion by burning away ice blocking your path shortly after setting an entire mob of splicers standing in oil on fire. As most of the enemies you're up against aren't fire resistant, Incinerate can be used far away to deal with groups of enemies while you casually walk away from the screaming voices. Doing damage over time, it is a good idea to use it on melee attackers since they'll die before they can get a hit on you. In Bioshock 2, you get as close to being a firebender as possible with the addition of a fireball being thrown out in front of you. If you can move around traps and propane tanks, you can set the ultimate ambush to kill anything that walks into it. Speaking of moving things. Number 6 is Telekinesis. Everyone has put their hand out and tried to move objects with their mind at one point in their life, and in the universe of Bioshock, everyone could have the ability to throw baseballs around with their own... Okay, stick with me here. Without even using Eve, you could lay traps out and grab your newly acquired meat shield of a Big Daddy corpse to absorb the spray of bullets coming at you. Throwing propane tanks and even catching grenades in midair and throwing them back are just a few examples of what this overpowered plasmid can do. In the sequel, this plasmid gets more upgrades and can even throw enemies around when it's still alive. Whether it's grabbing those hard-to-reach hypos in tonics or making your own Molotov cocktails with Incinerate, Telekinesis gives you the perfect defensive and offensive presence that can mix with any of the other plasmids in your arsenal. Number 5. Gravity Well. Of all the exclusive DLC plasmids in Bioshock, none stand out as much as the one in Minerva's Den DLC of Bioshock 2 called Gravity Well. Though the story of this particular piece of DLC isn't as rich and rewarding as the extra episodes of Bioshock Infinite, Minerva's Den gave us this masterpiece of a plasmid that is unique only to Bioshock 2. Putting all laws of physics aside, Gravity Well is the best crowd control plasmid all on its own, sucking in enemies, objects, and corpses and spiraling them around in a black fustercluck of a vortex. The mere impact of splicers hitting each other at such a high velocity is enough to take out a group of enemies without even upgrading the plasmid. Toss in a grenade and you're sure to see limbs colliding in a swirling black trap. Upgrading it only makes it more deadly, with its more powerful form secreting acid from the center, giving a nice damage over time effect. Talk about overkill, am I right? Number 4. Houdini. Houdini is one of those plasmids that no one really talks about. It was first introduced in the multiplayer of Bioshock 2, and although the multiplayer didn't take off as much as the devs would have liked it to, it offered a balanced reward system in which you leveled up after matches and gained access to new plasmids. Once you reached rank 16, Houdini, named after Houdini splicers from the first and second game, provides the player with invisibility. I could go on about the biggest trolls of the multiplayer would ambush each other when their targets were low on health, but instead, I'm gonna talk about the successor to the plasmid in Bioshock Infinite, Peeping Tom. Yet another DLC exclusive plasmid gives Elizabeth more than just invisibility. With the use of the plasmid, you can effectively turn into Solid Snake and see an enemy's alert status as you sneak past them. You'll make splicers scratch their heads in confusion, vanishing into thin air after a confrontation with them. Did I mention you get extra vision too? I wonder what the plasmid's intended use was. Number 3. Murder of Crows. You might be asking yourself, why is this so high up in the list when Insect Swarm functions nearly exactly the same way? Well, for one, Murder of Crows is infinitely better than Insect Swarm, as it is not only given to Booker for free pretty early in the game, but it can also be used alongside other Vigors to make it even more deadly. Any plasmid usage after releasing a swarm of insects in the 2 previous games causes them to stop their attack on the enemy. However, with Murder of Crows, you can electrify them with Shock Jockey or set them on fire with Devil's Kiss, spreading fire to anything in your path. Honestly, what else can I say? A Murder of Crows murdering enemies, making their corpses into a Murder of Crows to murder more. Brilliant! Number 2. Winter Blast. Winter Blast is a variant of the consumable plasmid in Bioshock Infinite's Burial at Sea Episode 1 and 2's DLC called Old Man Winter. It was my personal go-to pick when I was outnumbered or needed a chance to catch my breath and get some health back. Bioshock 1's version of the plasmid was its weakest, but it stands out because of its destructive power against every enemy, minus the Ice Houdini splices. The only drawbacks to this powerful plasmid is that once you shatter the enemy you've frozen, their corpses aren't lootable. Still, if you were well stocked on ammo and cash and U-vent materials, you could freeze any enemy and shatter them to pieces with just a few hits. If you thought the 1-2 combo with the Electro Bolt and Wrench was cool, the Winter Blast paired with any weapon could decimate anything in your path to Andrew Ryan. Using this plasmid on vending machines or turrets not only immobilizes them, but makes the tedious task of hacking much easier. It slows the flow of liquid so you have much more time to make your turret your best friend and lower the prices to stock up on ammo and Eve hypos. Then there's Old Man Winter, the original plasmid that can freeze multiple enemies at once so a single grenade can shatter them all. Between making ice bridges and making snowflakes out of bodies, there's nothing stopping you from making any place your winter wonderland. Number 1. Summon Eleanor. Little sisters and big daddies are easily the most recognizable aspect in Bioshock. As the very last plasmid obtained in Bioshock 2's story, and for draining all of your Eve in one usage, this plasmid has to be something special, right? The story of Bioshock 2 follows the main character, Delta, on his quest to find his symbiotic daughter that every big daddy has bonded with. This particular little sister is with you throughout the entirety of the game, watching closely, giving you gifts, and writing messages for you as you piece together both her and your past. ELEANOR, the big sister who escaped from Rapture 10 years ago, gives you her final present in the second to last chapter of the game. If you're wondering why it's ranked number 1, just see for yourself. It's Bring Your Daughter to Work Day. And that concludes my personal top 11 Vigors and Plasmids from the Bioshock series. Do you have any contenders for the number 1 slot? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Follow us on Twitter @IllegibleMonster. I'll be playing the remastered version on PS4, so be sure to follow us on Twitch. All links will be in the description down below. I'll see you guys next time.